guys, welcome to another vlog. I'm Master and today I'm at Velo Studio. Today there's a Muc-Off event happening here. So let's head in and stay tuned because it sounds very interesting.
Welcome guys. My name is Ritvik. Thanks for showing up for this event. So today we're going to cover most of Muc-Off's products that we would use primarily to take care of any disc brake frame bike in terms of cleaning the bike, protecting the bike and lubricating the drivetrain. They have a wide variety of products that do different things based on the time that you have as well as the limitations in terms of the space that you have and the type of cleaning you want to get done. So just run you through the products real quick. We have this, which is the drivetrain cleaner. This is the most effective cleaner in the lot in terms of drivetrain. Right? We have a bunch of variations of this. We have a bio degreaser. We have a chain cleaner as well. Right? So we have these three products that are primarily used for the drivetrain. So we'll run through them in a bit once I introduce all the other products. Then we have the HCB1. So generally someone that uses a steel bike, this prevents corrosion, right? So prevents rusting. Ideally we do this for any steel frame that comes into the workshop because people don't see the rusting on the inside, right? So for most alloy carbon bikes this is not really needed. Then we have the silicone shine, which is the post, right? Once you're done cleaning your bike, this gives like a nice finish, prevents dirt and muck from sticking on the frame once you apply this. Then we got the quick drying degreaser. This is for like a quick job. It comes slightly highly pressurized, so spray it onto the drivetrain and it just ejects everything off the chain, right? So we'll be using this as well on the bike. Then we have the disc brake cleaner, which is I think super important because squeaky brakes are very annoying. Right, so disc brake cleaner primarily used, actually it's used only for the rotors. You don't use this anywhere else but the rotors on the bike. Alcohol based, so it dries quickly. You need to have a microfiber cloth to be able to wipe off the disc, or you can use fresh tissue paper. Right? Then we've got the bike wash. So this is their Nanotech cleaner. This is probably one of the most effective cleaners. They've got really good formula going with this. So rinse the bike with some water. I'll do it on this bike and I'll spray a section, wipe it down, and then have the bike sent. They'll clean up the residue, and you'll see how good of a job that this does. They have a couple of variations of this. You can get them in like a metal bottle. You get them in a powder form, right? So you get I think 4 sachets inside one of these. Each sachet makes 1 liter. Comes conveniently spray on anti-slip base on this too. It concentrates as well, so in case you don't find this or you find the concentrate a little bit more efficient to use, each bottle of this makes 2 liters, right? So as I said, there's a variation. So basically this and this are all the same thing, it just comes in different shapes. Then obviously comes your lubrication, right? So we've got ceramic and we have the standard lubes. Then we have shoe cleaner. So they have some small products in the periphery kind of to help you as a rider with your equipment apart from the bike. So they have this, which is a shoe cleaner. So they have one that cleans the shoe and then one that protects the shoe. Along with that you get a foam fresh. So instead of having to wash your shoes, spray the foam inside, let it settle for a little bit, wipe it around with the dry cloth and then dry it as much as you can, vent it so it dries, it cleans it, it disinfects the inside of the shoe. You can use the same thing on your helmet as well, but I would ideally recommend washing your helmet after every ride, prevent any form of skin rashes and stuff like that. But in case you don't do it too frequently, you can definitely use one of these and do a fantastic job. Then we have Sweat Protect. So sweat protect is primarily when you work out indoors, right? Because you not moving, the wind's not going to dry off your sweat as easy. You can use when you're on a trainer, you can use this particular thing primarily around the cockpit area, because when your sweat drips and drops on here, it is going to cause corrosion at the stem, inside, and once it goes into it, it's going to ruin your bearings as well. And this I've seen happen to a lot of athletes, especially triathletes that train indoors, right? If you don't have enough cooling or you don't wipe off the sweat in time, it will get to your bike, right? So this is one more product in the periphery. So let's begin. So as you guys can see, bike's been ridden quite a bit, ridden in the rain. When this happens, what tends to occur is it causes additional wear and tear on the bike. The dirtier the bike, the more wear and tear. So the more you take care of the bike, the more the bike will take care of you in terms of possibly not breaking down or giving you any issues while you're out on the road. You can see as this jam, because there's so much dirt and grime stuck here that the brakes constantly holding. So imagine the lack of efficiency when your bike is this dirty, right? Another thing is chain lubrication's importance. You can see chain's super dry. I can barely feel anything. It's just powdery. Chain should never be this dry and powdery. Understand that a chain is the most important part in converting the drive. Whatever energy you're putting out, the chain is what's helping you get anywhere. If this is not clean, if this is not functioning well, you're losing the amount of effort that you're putting into it, as well as it's causing extra wear and tear on your drivetrain, right? So chain has to be as clean as possible. Your tire pressure has to be as per recommended, as well as for your particular usage. Now, when you're talking about tire pressure and your drivetrain, without these two, understand that your bike is not going anywhere, right? You can have half a handlebar, but your bike is still functional, right? You could have no seat, your bike is still functional, right? But if the drivetrain and the contact patch are not 100%, you're not going anywhere. So the moment you come home, even if you hose it down and just remove as much dirt and grime as possible, that will possibly be the best thing that you can do. Because when you let it sit, everything starts to settle and seep in. And you see the way it's just sticking to the frame, right? And then your bike just over time starts to look uglier and uglier. Right? So, fortunately, so ideally the way I do it is always start by wetting the drivetrain, because that's where we need to kind of start work. Because to degrease this, once we spray the degreaser onto it, once you spray it on, it takes a little time to start breaking down the dirt and grime onto it. So when that happens, you can wash the rest of the bike in the meantime, right? Because you just spray this down and then start working the rest of the bike, right? So just start with the drivetrain a little bit all over. And I don't think you have to worry about water getting anywhere because it's fine. One more thing that I forgot to mention is disc brake covers, right? Most of the products as you've seen here are all a spray, right? Which means you will get overspray. When you're using anything oil-based, your degreasers, your polishes, they're primarily oil-based, which means if you contaminate your rotors, rotor gets contaminated, it's going to contaminate your brake pads. Once the brake pads are contaminated, it's done. It's not going to hold that out. So cleaning the brake pads, standing on the brake pads will not help you, because the brake pad material absorbs the oil, right? So once it absorbs, you can rub down the top surface, but the lower surface still has oil on it. This prevents anything happening to your rotors with overspray. So it's a clever design. It's Velcro all around, right? And it's got a little gap so you can go in. Right? And just Velcro all around. So any kind of overspray is not going to land on your rotor. Right? So now even if I spray the drivetrain with this, right? So basically you saw it just went straight onto the back, right? So always have this cover, because if the rotor gets contaminated, you're in a lot of trouble. So spray, and let it just sit for a bit, and then we can kind of get started on the, sorry about that. Once this is done, then we move on. I'm going to use this because I find this the most fun to use. Can someone get me a liter of water, please? No, for this. Or can someone just fill this up? So this is the powder, and this basically it's kind of part of their initiative to make things as renewable as possible, because obviously there's a lot of plastic consumption, a lot of things that you use single time and then throw away, right? So they're working on a really good initiative where all of the materials that they use, they're trying to use renewable. Even Shimano's made that shift where, you know, from the standard blue packaging, they've moved to the brown paper, which is more renewable for every single purpose. Even the packaging and stuff that they put inside. Can you just pour a little water into this and just pour this in? Ask people to do it. So even with their packaging, so even all of their products here are largely biodegradable, which means that even if you wash it down the drain, it's not going to affect the environment as much. A lot of people do use diesel, because diesel is really good solvent for grease and oils. Not the best for the environment, right? So even when the water goes for treatment, it's not really helping anyone's situation. Doesn't make it as reusable in a sense, right? So Muc-Off does a really good job, so you don't have to worry about clogging your drain or worrying about it, you know, harming the environment in any sort of way. Just give me a bit, let that come back in, and then at this point, you just kind of spray the bike, pour water all over the bike. And what their products do, especially the cleaning and the washing products, is it breaks down the dirt, right? So the moment it breaks down the dirt, what happens is it kind of makes it easier to wipe off, right? You're not basically rubbing it into the frame, causing more scratches.
Drivetrain cleaner you applied after putting a cup of water, or
Yeah, you can just basically pour a little bit of water so it wipes, like washes off whatever small dirt and grime with it.
and then you put the
And then just spray the drivetrain. And everything is more or less water soluble, man, so it comes off like super simple. You can see it really bulks up after a while. So their product, as I said, is scientifically thought of for like not just using any standard cleaner that you would use say for cars or motorcycles, because those are built more for industrial use, which means they're a lot harsher. Our bike finishes don't have as thick finishes as cars and bikes, right? The lacquer layers are a lot thinner, which means that if you use something a little bit more harsh, odds are your paint will peel off or your lacquer peels off, and then your bike looks terrible after that, right? So they are built a lot more mild for that particular case. Part that is super hard to reach is generally behind the crank. So whenever you get to behind the crank, always do it from the non-drive side. Otherwise you're kind of putting an effort or kind of cutting yourself on the crank for no use. Like you can just do this cleaner safer from the other side. Right, so once this is on, just let it do its job because we already sprayed the degreaser. Now we just need this thing to do its work. So generally, drivetrain cleaning achieve with drivetrain brush, toothbrush. The drivetrain, the degreaser is doing plenty of work already. The easiest way to start is always start with the cassette, clean the derailleur, work on your front derailleur, work on the crank, and then the chain you do towards the end, because that you can constantly rotate and do. Generally you get a claw brush. This is to clean in between your cogs. So you have cogs here. Generally when it gets really dirty, dirt and grime gets stuck in between, right? So in between the teeth and yank, right? So generally when you're cleaning, you kind of see build up. If you guys can come up here, I can show you the build up of dirt and grime and how to go about cleaning it. Right? That's how this with the teeth works. So let me just turn this closer to you all. So if you can see the dirt and grime here on the cassette, use this. Kind of get in between, break up that grime, because the degreaser has already done its work to loosen it up, right? And then you can just use this brush, get inside, and then clean up the grime. If you can see, there's grime that's building up here, and it gets caught in between the teeth, right? So super simple to clean out this grime. If you want it like that, absolutely clean, you can get in between and just clean up all this muck. right? Then you can go straight into the cassette, right? Brush forward. Like you can see how much it's cleaning straight off the bat, right? Versus the rest of the cassette. And whenever you need, you can always spray a little bit and kind of get this all out of the way. So this is one portion, you would release, and you can kind of see the dirt and grime on the other sections of the cassette. Right, so once you do about that, just a little bit of space. Then you go down to the rear derailleur, right? You can see the grime here, right? So that needs to be cleaned up. Right? The jockey wheels generally accumulate a lot more dirt. Right? You can see how it's just cleaning off the dirt and grime almost immediately. That's simple. So don't forget the other side. Generally can't see, but don't forget the other side. Yeah. So entire drivetrain as much as you can reach. Right? You can pull open the derailleur to get more access, so you can clean inside where most of the dirt and grime sits on the inside here, right? So you pull open, brush, clean. Right? Then get here, behind. Be careful that, like, if you're anyone running electronic drivetrain here, nothing to worry about. So just make sure you clean as much as you can. Hard to reach places, toothbrush works best. Softer bristles breaks everything down a lot easier, can clean a lot easier. Right? If you feel that there's something that's there and it isn't cleaning as well, give it another blast with the drivetrain cleaner and let it sit. And it smells really nice as well. You can see just with the spray how much the dirt just comes off. Right? So once you're done with the rear derailleur, we move to the front. Let's come that side. So again, clean as much as you can. I would say the soft bristle toothbrush kind of works better instead of like this, which is more cassette oriented. So you can see the grime just coming off the chain brake. And if you see this section here, you can see how grimy it is. Just brush and that's it. It does a fantastic job of removing dirt and grime. Right? Top to bottom, not bottom to top, right? So make sure you rinse off dirt after every heavy section of dirt. Rinse it off, otherwise that same dirt is staying in your sponge and then scratching the bike. Right, so there. And you see it just changes the way the bike looks straight off the bat.
How do you clean behind the crank?
Yeah?
Yeah.
So that is where the little brush comes in place. So it sits inside, and as I said, it's a little bit more malleable, so it can kind of move around. And as I said, always this side. This side is a lot easier to clean. Hard to reach places, I would say for the most of it, if you use like a hose, once you spray this cleaner, it falls off. Yeah. So that bit is there. So I've left the other side of the bike looking as is, so you can take a look at it after we're done cleaning the bike. And that's it, everything just slides right off. So once this bit is done, generally what I do is get the hose, rinse the bike once. So basically all the soap, any of the residue comes off. So I'm going to take the bike off right now, hand it over to my colleagues. They'll just wash the bike, bring it back, and then you can see how clean the bike is. Yeah?
From here, what's happening right now? Any idea?
The Muc-Off workshop, and everyone is getting to do some bike cleaning and understand how it works and not mess their bikes up. So just maintaining everything and getting people to know how to do stuff.
So Ritvik thought the basics of everything. So now he is making everyone else get their hands dirty and have an experience of using Muc-Off products. So that's what's happening right now. If you have any doubts, you can leave a comment down below. I'll ask Ritvik to reply to those comments. This is what, bro?
So this is probably one of the best chain cleaning, I would say, tools that exist, especially if you want to clean your chain, because there's bristles here at the bottom as well to help clean your chain out completely. So we fill this with degreaser. We put a little bit on top. So you can see there's a small release at the bottom where you can release degreaser. You can see it's sloped as well. So the moment you open it, it falls right onto the brush, coats the chain and starts brushing it clean. Right, so we'll get another bike up here. We'll start using this to see how it cleans the chain. Alrighty. So we're going to use this. Understand that this is super important because the way this nozzle works is it works in tandem with the little hole on top. So this is what you use to fill the degreaser inside, right? So
the composition is same or it's different?
it's the same thing, exact same. So fairly simple. You ideally put the chain on the biggest ring, right, and try to get it on like a mid-range gear. So basically the chain is a little bit more widespread rather than close together. So you have a little bit more room to work. So simple. Place the chain right in the middle. Press it in a little further away from the chain so you can rotate it, yeah? Oh, wait. Sorry. Right, press down, lock and cap. So it stays right here. Sorry, my bad. Can I get that handle? Thanks guys, I got it. So, there. Down, lock, right? So you kind of get it running through the machine. Next step is to drop the degreaser. Wait, that other side. What is this childproof? That's the reason why we're giving this particular bottle. So you can pop this cap, replenish, and continue using, right? So just go in there. Plunge it in. Now I'm going to hold this. I just want someone to run that forward. Right, so now I'm going to press and then release the degreaser on it. Keep turning. Yeah. 1 second. Yeah. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. 1 second.
Pull forward, right?
With one person doing, then we
No,
enforce the cycle.
Yeah, you can pull. Yeah, so watch the cycle and then. So, can you guys see the dirt grime collecting at the bottom here? Yeah? So run it slowly. So you feel that it needs a little bit.
Pedal forward.
1 second. No, forward what happens is I'm holding this. This is kind of retracting. So we pedal backwards and just do it slowly, yeah? Yep. I think I'm derailing it on my front, yes. Yeah. The other way. And pull. Yeah. So press. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Slowly up. So I don't know if you guys are noticing that you can see that the chain is getting cleaner and cleaner. Sorry, getting distracted. Yeah. Go. Yeah. Okay, stay a little bit more. Yeah. I can stop. You guys can see how clean the chain is now. Super clean.
And all stored.
Right? So all the dirt and grime you can see washes off at the bottom. Pop this open. You guys can see all the grime at the bottom. It's cleaned off as much as it can. So basically you just keep running it. You get these bristles, you get replacement brushes as well. So even if this wears out, you don't have to worry about buying another one. Just you get a replacement brush kit for this, right? So now this is fundamentally how the machine works. Any doubts?
If we don't have that box, we will just do it on with the brush, right?
Yeah, the same way that you did it. So
The
this
same
is
way.
just like an added tool that you can use.
The same way.
Yeah. So I can show you the quick drying degreaser as well. Do I have another one? So all of these products that I'm showing you is part of the cleaning, which is I think the most laborious part of cleaning bikes, right? So this you just blast, right? It's pressurized. That's simple. So you
So what's filled inside that? Is
Sorry?
it the same?
So this is also like an alcohol base, so it will dry quickly.
Okay.
Give a little time and it dries. It doesn't leave a little residue on this. So that's simple. You can see clean, chain's clean. Still dirt, little dirt, last little bit. Let's say if you are doing a really long brevet and you have a drop bag, leave this in your drop bag, especially if it's going to be a dirty, grimy ride, right? You reach your drop bag, pull this out, clean it as much as you can, put some lube on it, and then you can get going, right? So this is
need to wash
for
it
that
also.
utility.
We need to wash it also.
What?
After applying, they don't need to wash it.
Not needed because it dries off, right? This is again alcohol based.
But if we don't have this, we'll still do a wipe down, right?
Yeah, obviously you do based on how dirty your drivetrain is. As I said, the cleaner it is, the more efficient it rides.
So just
Yeah.
use this and then just directly lube it.
No, but yeah. Because alcohol based again, right? The whole idea behind this is to just clean off as much as you can.
Quick clean.
Because you're just spraying everything off, right? So you can check the chain now. It'll be cold obviously because it's
Alcohol.
yeah.
And if you
we've got
have
degreaser in
disc
it.
brake, then it will let hamper.
Don't spray this on this way.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
meant
yeah.
for
So
this.
you have to cover that again. Okay.
Preferably, as I said, what you do is just spray the front, spray it with the crank rotating, or do it backwards so you can just clean off as much on the chain.
Okay.
Clean off, you can spray it directly on the cassette down. Don't spray at an angle because the disc is behind this, right? So always spray down.
So if you have water pressure also, you can use that.
I'm sorry?
Pressure water.
You can use basically a health faucet or like a small hose you can use on the bike, but preferably don't use a pressure washer. When you use pressure washer near the bearings, it's definitely going to get inside and then your bearings are going to start rusting, especially at the wheels. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? It's based on your requirement. This is what you would use in a situation where you know you're in a dirty, place or it's wet and your drivetrain is going to get dirty. Pre-plan, even if you don't need it, keep it there. If it comes to use, nothing like it. Immediately cleaned, you're good to go. Right, so fundamentally this covers more or less the cleaning bits of it. Anybody wants to get hands-on on doing any cleaning right now?
After this, we have to lube.
Yeah, I will carry that cloth, whatever's residual, just clean off. Because you know there will be residue. Right now, even after I sprayed it, there's still residue.
Yeah.
Right, so just clean off whatever residue you can.
Lube kit.
Yeah. Clean off whatever residue you can and keep going. Understand that when you try cleaning a chain, no matter how many times you wash it, you'll never ever get it perfectly clean. Very, very difficult.
Some videos we see like they remove the chain completely. They do.
Correct.
Soak it in the mud.
Yeah, so that is if you want to do it, you'll need the tools, you need the
Yeah.
expertise, especially when you're putting a
Chain
chain
removal.
back, right?
Yeah.
Most chains, I think this one probably doesn't have a master link.
Quick release, right?
Yeah, so if you have like a
Sure.
quick link, yeah. So you have a quick link here. You can get like spare quick links. Idea is that you can reuse this. Again, you have to go based on feel. Now you get a specific pair of pliers to pop this chain open. You can dip it in a solution, wash it, and then put the chain back on, right? Understand, with certain chains in Shimano, there is directional, right? On Shimano chains, on the outside, you will see the name, right?
Okay.
On the inside, the plate will be plain, right? So there's a direction to it, right? You see all these little notches on the chains, right? They actually won't be on the outside, it will be on the inside, where there are notches on the chain. That helps the chain shift gears a lot quicker, right? So whenever you are going to take your chain off, make sure you understand the direction, inside and outside, right? If the chain has the name and markings on both sides, then you can use it either ways. In my opinion, I think it's the 11 speeds and above that have a direction. So most of them that have like the 11 speed 105 and the 12 speed drivetrains, the chain is directional. Right? Anybody else wants to get their hand dirty? Okay. Moving on, since we've done the
This is hydraulic.
clean, yeah, hydraulic brakes. So since we've done the clean, now comes the lube and protect. Right? So one of my favorite products for protection is MO94. Right? You guys can pass it around and see the things that it does at the bottom, the list of things that it has. I don't think any other product in the Muc-Off lineup does, right? This is one of, it's like a WD-40 for bikes. You can use it to lube, you can use it to protect the frame, you can use it to displace, again, water if you have it on your chain, or if you have some water in a place where you don't want it to be, you can just spray the derailleur, no problem. Right? So you guys can pass it around, see at the bottom the list of things that it does, because as I said, there's no other product in the Muc-Off lineup that does something this good. Right, so who's got the can of MO94? Yeah, you guys can just take a look again. Just take a look at the stuff that it does. As I said, you can use it on your chain, you can use it on your drivetrain. You can also, as I said, you can also use it as a lube. It's not as effective as a specific chain lubricant, but it does a fantastic job nonetheless. Right, so this is what I and the workshop prefers to use to protect the frame. The way we do it is microfiber cloth, so we're not spraying and overspraying all over the place, getting it on the rotors, getting in places that it shouldn't go. So we spray on the cloth. Once this is on, we put like a small layer on the frame. Right, you can see how it's changed the finish. Yeah.
Take a polish.
Yeah, it's basically a polish. So what it does is now there's a thin layer of MO94 on the frame. So when you go out riding in the rain, or obviously you run over puddles, when the dirt gets kicked up, it wouldn't stick to the frame as much. Like you've seen the ceramic coating finishes, right? But this, even if it sticks on the frame, it washes off easy.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the reason why we really like MO94 for this particular reason. It does a very good job protecting the frame. And obviously you can see it makes it look super nice.
corrosive one?
No, this is not the anti-corrosive. This is a general protector, I would say. The anti-corrosion, as I said, is meant purely for more steel, where corrosion is highly evident, right? So this again is a protection spray. Now, even when you're looking at your wheel, right? Your wheel, you can see scratched up, looks really dirty, right? Bad. Same, this MO94, put a layer on it, it looks fresh. Transformed how the wheel looked. You guys how so dry, scratched up, right? So once this dries up, obviously it will not look as shiny, but obviously it'll leave a nice cleaner finish on the bike, prevent that dirt and grime from sticking on it again, right? Spray some water on it, it comes off easier. Right? So MO94 is for me is one of the best tools that Muc-Off has got. You can even spray this, as I said, on your drivetrain. If you can hit it with a brush after. It also works as a mild degreaser. Right? So this is, as I said, one thing that does it all except for cleaning your rotors. Yeah. Right. Moving on to the next thing, as I was talking to you about indoor training, sweat protect. This is something that again gives like a small layer, just like what the MO94 does. But this is where you spray this on parts of the bike where you would generally sweat. Right. So this sweat is insanely corrosive. Right. The moment it comes off your body, it lands on your bike, it will start eating away at aluminium, right? Even at carbon. I've seen some handlebars where people obviously sweat through the bars, and then it gets to the handlebar, and you don't see it, right, because the bar tape's covering it. And then when you look inside and underneath, the entire bar tape is salt, and it's just eaten away at the aluminium bar, and it's very unsafe, right? Same thing here, especially when you're training indoors. People that do triathlons, their position is such that when they sweat all over this area, right? So say we're going to clean that area, we've gotten to wash the bike, we wash the entire bike, we're going to wipe it down now because it's still a little dirty because we didn't wash this particular section. So this is something that is not harmful for the bike at all, right? So shake. Right, and spray, right, let it soak in a little bit, and again, just like the MO94, leave like a small layer on top, right, leave a small layer on top, so in case you sweat on it, right, after a while you'll see it'll be a lot more dry, but it'll still keep that clean finish. Leave it, now it's protected. Right. Make sure you get into those particular spots, especially if you're training indoors. Make sure you get in those particular spots where you know sweat will drip into, especially around the edges of the cap, at the bolt here, at the bolts here, and the stem. Right. So whenever you spray, you try to ensure that you get these gaps here, so because you are going to sweat on this. Now, someone that has a TT bar or a TT handle here, spray the joints here because you will be sweating all around it as well. Right? Again, you can spray it on a cloth, put a fine layer on it, but you need it penetrating into smaller spaces. That's why they're giving you an extendable straw. So this pretty much covers what you would need to protect your bike. As I said, for me, MO94 is the best. It's multi-purpose. You get another specific spray for protection called Bike Protect or Bike Spray. Same thing, spray it on a cloth, put on a thin film. But as I said, MO94 has multiple uses, so it's not just to, protect the bike, but it's also to prevent dirt and stuff from sticking. That is primarily aesthetic. Right? Moving on, we are looking at lubrication now. So ceramic is a lot lighter in terms of consistency. So I'll show you a dab on my finger. Right? A lot lighter in terms of consistency. Right? And then you have the dry, milkier, light. It's going to seep in everywhere because it has a little bit of wax properties. So if you put this in like a hot water before applying, it'll penetrate into the chain a lot better, right? So you guys can pass this around, take a small dab on your finger, see how the chain loop feels. You can pass this way. This is the dry, and you guys can wipe your hands off with this, yeah? And then wet, super sticky consistency. Right? When you're out on the rain, when you're out in the wet, it doesn't wash off easy, but it attracts a lot more dirt and grime, right? Unless you're going into something that is that difficult in a place where you do need wet lube, I strongly don't recommend, especially in India. Right?
So when do you use ceramic lube?
So as I said, so the difference between ceramic and the dry, ceramic it lasts a lot lesser in terms of the duration on your chain. And that kind of also plays into it not attracting as much dust and dirt, right? So for example, when someone is racing, right, you don't want a lube that is super sticky or that is built to do different things. You use a ceramic lube which is more performance oriented. You're probably going to run it in a race maybe 100-200 kilometers, and that would last enough for you to run that entire race without attracting too much dust and dirt and performance. Right? So ceramic is what you would use for that. If you're looking at like regular everyday riding, the dry or the all-weather is what we recommend. Right, so it comes with a long neck on all of them, as you would have seen. The way to use this, you can have your bike standing upright. Just make sure you wipe the chain clean or make sure that the chain is dry. Otherwise, as I said, right, the lube is not going to stick or the degreaser is going to break it down. So degreasing, not needed every time you lube your chain. You could do it once every 2 weeks if you're doing maybe 150 to 200 kilometers every week. Otherwise, I would recommend doing it once a month if you're doing any lesser mileage than that. Because the more you degrease, the more it's going to get into your bearings. Long run, it's going to cause more damage to your bearings. Right? So once the chain is clean, you approach it with the lube. you have a bottle of dry. You don't need to press the bottle when you're applying the lube. Understand that less is more, right? So I hold the bottle upside down, touch the chain and just run. So if you can see it's slowly dripping, you don't need to put a drop at every link. Right? So when you're applying it from above, you kind of see the line of lube. Right? Once it's done, stop. Understand that when you are lubricating a chain, you're not lubricating the outside of the chain. You're trying to get to the rollers in between. The rollers are what come in contact with the chain, and instead of rubbing against it, it rolls. Right? So whenever you're lubricating the inside of the rollers, not the outside of the chain. So the chain does not have to be coated with lubricant. Right? So generally what I do after I lubricate my chain, I let it sit maybe for half an hour, 45 minutes, or I say do it the previous night, and then I wake up in the morning, grab my dry cloth, hold it, just one round, wipe off the excess. So you're not going to attract extra dust and dirt on the chain. Yeah. Because as I said, you want to allow it to seep into the chain, right? And that is fundamentally it. And then your bike is good to go.
Mileage for this?
So when you're looking at doing the ceramic, as I said, you can do about 150 to 200 kilometers. The dry lube, based on the condition ideally applied, I would say maybe 250 to 300 kilometers. The wet lube, a lot longer, but again, your chain gets more dirty, more grimy.
Is it recommended in the monsoon?
As I said, depends on the intensity of the rain. So come back after every ride, anyways, wash your bike, wash the bike, wipe the chain, lubricate it again. So if you're doing, say, a brevet style where you're in the middle of nowhere doing a lot of riding, understand that that will attract a lot of dirt and grime. Right? So that means as you're riding, if you come across a situation where you do a lot of changing on a climb, the gears are going to be a little clunky, it's not going to shift very efficiently, then your chain might slip when it's under load. Right? So that the cleaner the drivetrain, it'll avoid those things from, like, it'll prevent those things from happening, which is ideally what you wanted. Right? So I would say just carry a bottle of dry lube, even if it washes away, feeling that little squeakiness, feeling that little noise, or feeling that little drag in the chain, reapply the dry lube. You're more, I would say you're more inclined to do a ride better with dry lube versus the wet. Because wet has those hydrophobic, characteristics, right? So you put the wet lube on your hand, you pour water, it'll drip off. But you sprinkle dust, it's going to stick. Right? So you're trying to avoid that dust from settling. So if you are doing super long brevets, you know you're going to do multiple weathers, I would say run the all-weather lube. And again, make sure to wipe off the excess. If you don't use this correctly, every lube is going to be a bad lube.
So before wiping off the extra, you have to do again the cleaning the chain.
Yeah, so as I said, so whenever you are going to apply this, right, you don't have to degrease it. Just grab a cloth like how I did.
Okay.
Wipe the chain clean as much as you can.
Okay.
Right? It's not needed that you have to degrease and remove. Just wipe off as much dirt as you can. Wash the bike, use a little brush, clean it as much as you can. You will be fine. Even with the spray that we used earlier, you can use this also on the drivetrain. So you're not degreasing. It's not that additional extra work that you have to do. Spray this, use a brush, clean it as much as you can. No rush to degrease any given time. So preferably wash your bike after every ride. Cleaner the bike, less of the work you have to do later. Yeah?
But if you use degreaser like after 100 km, it's still okay, right?
It's okay, but not recommended, no? Because as I said, you're spraying and or you're applying and it's going to seep into the bearings. Your bearing life is
changed. I generally use it on the chain, so that's okay.
It'll inevitably drip because it will get onto the cassette and it'll slip down onto the cassette freehub body and then go in. And then you're riding, you're moving, so it will kind of spread, go into the bearings. It's inevitable. So try to degrease, as I said, once a month or once every fortnight, depending on the volume of riding that you do. Anybody have any questions?
So we joined late. What's your name?
Okay, my name is Ritik. Guys, nice to meet you. So anything that you guys want me to explain again or point out and show you on this table?
Thank you so much, Ritik, for the
You're
information.
welcome, guys. I hope you guys had fun. I'm all sweaty and dirty. Unfortunately, Muc-Off doesn't make products for me.
The workshop just got done. Ritik given a lot of information. Yeah, if you have any doubts, do leave a comment down below. And I'll see you guys in the next vlog, which is going to be the BBC at XC race. So till next time, take care, ride safe, cheers.